Have you ever wondered how exposure to violence on social media is impacting teenagers? On the morning of September 10th, 2025, Evergreen High School in Colorado experienced a tragic shooting. Over the course of 9 minutes, the shooter critically injured two people before turning the gun on himself. The shooter was identified as Desmond Hawley, but how does this relate back to my initial question? Well, I would love to tell you. You see, upon further inspection of the situation, it was discovered he'd recently become fascinated with mass shooters. Furthermore, his online behavior indicated he was possibly planning a shooting and even may have had intentions to record it.
I believe that if his behavior had been caught or reported, or if social media had never enabled this kind of thinking or behavior in the first place, that maybe this shooting never would have happened.
So, how is violence on social media impacting teens? First, we have to show that social media has shown and planned acts of violence. According to Social Media Victims Law Center, social media violence statistics correspond increasingly to mass shootings in the United States and large scale violence throughout the world. It also went on to say that Russia used Twitter to attempt to encourage the killing of a humanitarian group, and that the military in Myanmar used Facebook to launch a genocide.
Circling back to Desmond Hawley, when ADL looked into his social media usage, they found that he had possibly had intentions of live streaming the shooting similarly to two other shooters that Desmond looked up to.
So, what is the impact of all of this exposure to violence? Well, it has actually been found that being exposed to violence on social media leads to desensitization to violence, which causes a decline in empathy. In fact, the University of Michigan found that in the last 30 years, there has been a 40% decline in empathy among college students in America. That is cutting empathy, an emotional function that impacts relationships and social functions, by almost half.
This can cause teenagers to be more likely to bully someone and less likely to help someone. In addition to that, it's been found that teenagers who are regularly exposed to violence on social media are more likely to exhibit aggressive behavior, and it has also been found that there actually has been a minimized distress response to violence.
Another troubling thing that couples with desensitization is the disinhibition effect. This gives people a sense of security due to the anonymity that social media provides. This stops inhibitions that people would normally have, causing them to be more cruel on a whim and less worried about the consequences.
On social media, your account does not have to contain any real pieces of information about you. This means that you can do or say anything you want and not really have any consequences other than maybe your account getting banned. You can see how this can quickly snowball into a bigger issue, sometimes even giving people the confidence to act out violently in real life.
But that's not the only thing encouraging teens to act violently. Misinformation is another culprit. Everyone is aware of misinformation online, but not many people check the sources before repeating something that they learned online. This becomes an issue when hateful or biased people spread misinformation online. For example, UCL News reported that in 2020, misinformation about COVID-19 resulted in over 11,000 incidents of violence and online aggression against Asians.
Social media algorithms are literally built to keep showing you more and more of the same information and content that you are engaging with. This means that if you happen to get a hateful person that's spreading misinformation on your page and you interact with one of their videos, you'll see more and more of it. And this can cause people to develop incorrect and hateful beliefs just from their exposure to it.
In fact, it was reported that TikTok increased videos containing misogynistic and objectifying content by 4 times over the course of just 5 days, according to VCL.
If a teenager is going through something and they see anything relatable online, they're probably going to interact with it. And when they interact with it, the algorithm is going to put more and more of it on their page. Now, if they're struggling with something like loneliness or self-esteem or an eating disorder, it can very quickly become this page of just all of this information that may or may not be true. And what this can lead to is it can lead to teenagers turning on each other and turning on themselves. And that is a big issue.
So, why does this matter? Not only does it lead to a decline in empathy, but it also increases the likelihood of aggressive and harmful behavior. The more harmful ideas that teens are being exposed to, the more harmful their behavior towards themselves and others becomes.
If this problem continues to go unchecked, empathy among the new generation of adults will continue to decline. This means that people are going to be more mean to each other and good deeds are going to become fewer and further between. Violence will continue to spread worldwide, and the effects of this will be very difficult to reverse, if at all.
So, what should happen then? Teenagers need to be very wary about what they consume online and of the effects. Parents should do their best to limit exposure and normalize therapy for things like loneliness, self esteem issues, and eating disorders. Social media platforms need to have firmer guidelines for violent content and be able to accurately flag misinformation online.
Parents, protect your kids. Teenagers, protect yourself. Protect your friends. Protect your mental health. Always make sure that you can back up the information that you're sharing. And as always, stay true to yourselves.